the build-up. The build-up in this game had quite some issues. And then the first of them, starts with this regular build-up we've seen from Ruben Amorim's side in most of his games. Now, Ruben Amorim likes to have his CCB, central center back, inverting to midfield. It is back to goal, okay? Inverting to midfield, and going to join the pivot, allowing one of the players in the pivot gets out of that position. Now, when we do this, okay, we split the center backs like this, okay? We create a situation where the keeper actually can become a player and become part of the build-up. Now, but playing against a team like Newcastle sent this guy here, Josh Murphy, to press Amass, okay? Alexander Isak moved into this position here in between, Ugarte and Lindelof, actually pressing Ugarte. Bruno Guimaraes, moved into this position here, actually pressing on the other side, but mainly looking to press Lyon. Now you have Harvey Barnes, who is also pressing Nusser Mazraoui. Then you have Joelinton in this midfield position. You have Sandro Tonali also combating in the midfield here, somewhere around here. Okay, Livramento is very much free, so he's not got any pressure on him. He's going to be taking up this channel here because, of course, Mazraoui is already pinned back. Livramento is now actually the one pinning Dalot back. Joelinton has got Garnacho on him, and then Kylian Trippier is free enough to roam. Fabian Schär is on Joshua Zirkzee, okay? The same with Dambon, just taking up that position. You could also go on Bruno Fernandes, you could also go on Eriksen, but these two center backs, that they are free here. Now look at what's happened here. Bayende has the ball in this situation, okay? Even if Livramento is not actively pressing Diogo Dalot here, if this ball moves from this place to Diogo Dalot, this is a press trigger for Livramento to press and to join him, come to this position and press him. But then that's not actually how, United build up. Now this ball goes from Bayende to Mazraoui. Harvey Barnes is going to press. It goes to Lyon. Bruno Guimaraes is going to press, okay? He decides to go to Lindelof or to Garte, any of them in that middle, okay? None of them is actually comfortable with the ball. So you see most times, you notice Bayende trying to go long from the back, and when he goes long, you are meeting Joshua Zirkzee as the point 9. Now the issue here is that Joshua Zirkzee is not good aerially, especially in contesting those area balls. That is not his biggest strength. So you are going long for a player who is actually not good aerially. I don't blame Bayende for that. I feel like this is the instruction that he has been given by the coach. You're going long to Bruno or you're going long to Garnacho. None of these players is comfortable with the ball. Now you see back to this again, okay? Now you have this Liverpool front line who are pressing very aggressively against a Manchester United defense who are very, very passive, even in the build-up. We had different times when the ball will be moved out to Mazraoui here, and you already have Harvey Barnes on him, okay? Ugarte is not very comfortable on the ball, so Ugarte is not actually even opening up space to receive the ball. And by the time the ball gets to Mazraoui, okay, Diogo Dalot is trying to open up to receive. Livramento already knows that ball is going to be passed to Dalot and is pressing on him. So even if Mazraoui somehow survives to get past Harvey Barnes and get this ball to Dalot, Livramento already has him, marked. That is one for the build-up phase. Now we look at it from another angle again. The second thing, the second issue we had in our game yesterday. Manchester United, we are very passive in their defense. Now you're thinking, this team, you have 5 at the back, Lindelof come back here, and then Isak go back here. Let's use Diogo Dalot is actually joining the back, the back 5. Amass coming back, and United are back to their default setting of, defending in a back 5. With, Ugarte, Eriksen dropping deep here, Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes, staying narrow. Now, the issue here, you think, okay, this team who are defending in a back 5, they should actually be very much comfortable defending. But the issue is this. Manchester United are very, no, they were very passive in the defense. Now sometimes you have somebody like Jolinton on the ball, and you don't have anybody actually coming close to take the ball away from him. First of all, you ask who is even coming to take the ball away from him. Manuel Ugarte picked up a yellow very early in the first half, and you're probably not expecting him to be diving into tackles so much. You have Mazraoui is not going to jump out. Of course, he cannot jump out because he's not going to leave this space for Harvey Barnes to exploit. You're thinking, okay, could it be Diogo Dalot? Diogo Dalot is going to exploit that space. He's not doing that. Oh, Amass, you think, oh, this young lad is having his debut, doesn't have the confidence to do that. And then Bruno Fernandes, who used to play a bit deeper, playing a lot higher today. I mean, against Newcastle. Joshua Zirkzee now having to drop deeper than usual for his striker. Garnacho not really helping out in defense. It's actually not his thing. He's never going to drop deep. And you have this guy pouring in the numbers. And this guy and United are not doing really much to stop them. Look at the goal time Sandro Tonali scored. Okay? You had Lindelof on him here. Sandro Tonali ran into this spot. By the time Isak had the ball, I think there was Lindelof here. I think there was Eriksen. And Isak had Lindelof on him, and he just jabbed that ball over, and Sandro Tonali walked into this space with Euro just, standing beside him there, and he was able to hit that ball into the back of the net. Simple. He moved the ball into the back of the net. But there were about 4 defenders there on him at that moment when he scored that goal. Okay? Very passive in the defense. Very, very passive. Now, you talk about lack of players who are comfortable with the ball in the midfield. When Lindelof inverts into the midfield, okay, it makes room for Eriksen to move, higher like this. And then, in the build-up, you could now say somebody like Mazraoui is going to spread out this way to receive from Bayindi. Euro on this other side, Amass, stepping out a little. It's Murphy on him. Okay, Trippier is just in and around this place. We have Bruno Guimaraes in this space here. Now, we do not have, by moving Lindelof and Ugarte into midfield, you create a pivot of 2 players who are not comfortable with the ball. Lindelof is lacking in confidence. Okay? Ugarte, even if he is confident, is not a forward passer. He's not somebody who is going to take that ball and give this through pass. He's not somebody who is going to hold on to that ball and look for the next available runner. Even though he played a key role in the equalizer, where he was able to hold off a little. And if you look at the equalizer, he was turning around to pass the ball back to the same place he had won it from the defense. Only to see, Diogo Dalot making that move before he passed that ball to Dalot. And Dalot was able to make that progressive run where he created for Garnacho, and Garnacho ended up scoring. Even if you say there was no Lindelof here, you're talking about Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen is not physically, he's not physically strong enough to face a Newcastle side. This Newcastle side, is not physical enough to do that job. So you talk about Eriksen now, if he has the ball in these deep positions like this, it's easier for somebody like Sandro Tonali or Bruno Guimaraes to muzzle him off the ball. And when you do this, you create issues for the team. Because I saw a lot of in so many situations, especially the third goal. Was that the third goal? The third goal where Mazraoui slipped. Ugarte won the ball, in our own half, under just little pressure. And all he did was just pass the ball back to Mazraoui, and Mazraoui slipped, and the rest is history. So we're talking about players in the pivot who are not very sure what they want to do with the ball when they have the ball. Even if Eriksen is sure what he wants to do when he has the ball, he lacks the physicality to sit in that pivot. Lindelof cannot. So I think this one is actually down to Ruben Amorim's tactical flaw. You don't invert this kind of player into your midfield. We can understand inverting probably a Matthijs de Ligt, who is comfortable with the ball. Okay? But you're inverting Lindelof. Come on, this is Lindelof. This is not Lisandro Martinez. This is Lindelof. This is not even Maguire. And you're inviting a player of this caliber into the midfield. and you're leaving only Mazraoui and Yoro in the last line. Then Diogo Dalot is joining occasionally, same with Harry Amass. And you're looking at Amass Murphy. Are these even good match for each other? Okay, Harvey Barnes on Mazraoui. Livramento has all the time in the world to enjoy himself and play football. So we cannot put pressure on the fullbacks. The fullbacks are sure the wingers are pinning our players back, and we can't go forward. And when we eventually get the ball to those in the pivots who should actually progress the ball forward, the next thing you see is just one back pass. So many things went wrong. Versus Newcastle. I feel like I didn't really want to talk about this game because I feel like Ruben Amorim chose the battle he wanted to fight, by putting out a lineup that consisted of a very inexperienced Harry Amass against Josh Murphy, Lindelof against Isak and Bruno Guimaraes, Eriksen in the pivot. I think Ruben Amorim, with his lineup already, just told us that his mind is much more on the Lyon game than on that Newcastle game. Well, I hope it pays off. I hope the gamble pays off. I hope United are able to, get a result on Thursday against Newcastle at Old Trafford, because if we fail to get a result against Lyon at Old Trafford and we ended up losing so badly to Newcastle, yes, I know the player qualities are not there, but it will bring into question what Ruben Amorim is actually trying to achieve with what he is doing, even with the players that cannot do it. Anyway, if you watch up to this point, please like, subscribe, follow this channel for more analysis like this. Stay tuned to the next video. See you all. Bye-bye.